Eggs Benedict time, my favorite time. It's one of my favorite brunches. You can make it for breakfast, you can make it for brunch, you can make it for dinner. All depends on the toppings that you use. I'm going to show you how to make the hollandaise sauce today, and I'm going to show you how to perfectly poach an egg. First things first, we're going to do the hollandaise sauce. Here we have 4 egg yolks. That's when you separate the egg whites and the egg yolks. I have a little bit of water, about 1.5 tablespoons. That's just going to we need that for basically just thinning out the eggs. We're going to cook the eggs. Right here I have simmering water. You need a bowl big enough that you can put right on top. We're going to turn the fire up a little bit. We don't want the water boiling, but we want the water simmering. While at the same time we're melting, right here as you can see, I have 1/2 pound of butter. That's 16 tablespoons or 2 sticks of butter. Each stick is about 1/4 pound, so that's why we have 1/2 pound of butter. So that's melted and ready to go. Here, what we have is called a double boiler, right? So it means we're gonna have water boiling underneath us, slightly boiling, not full boiling. And then we have a metal container above it. Of course, I use a metal stainless steel bowl. So what we're doing is, this is gonna get hotter, so make sure you have a napkin already, a hand towel, or something. You're gonna have to constantly whisk at all times. This is why Eggs Benedict becomes a little bit tricky. The moment you stop whisking, you'll get scrambled eggs. We don't want scrambled eggs, right? So, at this point, we're just gonna continue to whisk until we start to see it thicken up. And now my bowl is getting hotter, so I know that I'm getting up to temp. I'm gonna raise the heat a little bit more. We're at medium-high heat right now. If your hand gets tired, switch it to the left. But I got a lot of practice on this side, so I'm gonna keep it going. It's very cautious and careful that you don't stop whisking. You gotta make sure that you're constantly whisking. Get the sides too. You see it's foaming up a little bit. We're just gonna keep whisking until we get nice and thick. I added the water, so it's just not eggs, because later we're gonna add a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of salt. As you can see, we're getting a little bit thicker. And then I'm gonna add, you can flavor your hollandaise any way you want. I like it a little bit spicy. I'm gonna add some really cool truffle hot sauce that I'll show you later. You can add paprika, you can add herbs. You can simply leave it with just vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice and salt. The hollandaise is yours to spice up. They're good for dipping french fries. They're good on a steak. If you add tarragon vinegar, you got a nice little béarnaise, which is traditional in steakhouses. But as you can see, we're getting thick, right? So we're gonna keep whisking. We're almost there to where we want it to be. As you can see, the water is slowly boiling, but not really boiling, more like a simmer. We just wanna make sure it's hot enough to cook the eggs, but not boiling to the point where it's overcooking the eggs too fast, right? So I'm doing it nice and slow so you can see it. When you're in an expert mode, you can literally cook the eggs right over the fire, and you don't need a double boiler, so I'm not gonna recommend that. We're getting thick, and I know how we're getting thick because you can see the viscosity of the egg yolks are changing. There we go, you see that? How you can scrape the bowl and you can see the thickness. All right, we're almost there. Haven't stopped whisking once. I'm gonna move it off the fire a little bit so you can see. This is what we're looking for. It's nice and thick. What our chefs call it is nappe, when you can literally scrape the bottom and the sauce stays right in place. All right, so I'm gonna put this back to the side. That's the temperature of the water that we needed exactly for poaching eggs. So what we're gonna do right now is just regular, simple distilled vinegar. I'm gonna add to the count of 4. And basically all that's gonna do is it's gonna help coagulate the egg whites. Make sure the water is seasoned with salt. I also did that earlier. So now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna grab our melted butter and slowly, I don't bother clarifying it. I think all the flavor is in the whole butter, so I'm just gonna add that slowly into our eggs. If your bowl is moving too much, simply take something that's gonna fit right on top. And now we have a secure bowl. Not so secure, but better than it was. So slowly, whisking in the butter, little by little. If you add it too fast, the Hollandaise is gonna break, and we don't want a broken Hollandaise, right? So I'm gonna move this so you can see better. If it gets too thick, we're gonna add a little bit more water. Basically in a nice little stream. Again, this was 4 egg yolks, tablespoon of water to start, 2/4 pounds of butter. As we get better, and the eggs are tempered to temperature, you see that they'll start getting in a little bit better. I recommend you to do it nice and slow, but I'm getting to where I need it to be, right? All right, it's looking really good. Adding a little bit of lukewarm water, about another 2 tablespoons. Basically, I don't want this sauce to be too thick, but thick enough to coat the egg. We also don't want the sauce to be too runny. Remember, we're adding a little bit of lemon juice at the end and a little bit of truffle hot sauce. So that's 2 more liquids that we're adding. So this is exactly what we're looking for to add the rest of the butter. So now a little bit faster. All right. This is our beautiful Hollandaise sauce. See the texture, see the consistency. I'm gonna get a spoon so you can see. This is what we call nappe right there. It's thick enough. It's gonna coat the egg. And we're gonna keep it nice and warm right over here. Oh, that tastes good already, and I didn't even add any flavor to it. So we have the vinegar in here already. Have 2 eggs. I like to crack them in my container. I'm gonna slowly drop it in. 1. Slowly drop in 2. Slowly drop in 3. Make sure the water is gonna come up a little bit more, because once you drop something into water, and slowly drop in 4. All right, now it's gonna do its magic. While we wait, I got some chorizo that's gonna go in the oven. I got my English muffins, which is my bread of choice, toasted. Just wanna warm them up a bit. Multitasking is the key to life. I got a little 1/4 slither of lemon. A little bit of paprika for some color. A little bit of flavor, some smokiness. My friends at Truff, I love this Truff hot sauce. This is a white truffle limited edition. About a full tablespoon. And that's gonna give us the love. Let's do a little bit more. We're already gonna get some smokiness from the chorizo. And we're gonna get some smokiness from the paprika. And definitely of that truffle hot sauce. We're almost ready with these eggs. Let's get a vessel out. Plating station. I always like to take my eggs out when they're ready and let it rest on something nice and dry. Slotted spoon is weapon of choice. You see, they're starting to boil. I want to bring it down a little bit. I haven't touched it, I haven't bothered it, but we're almost there. I just want to move it a little bit and make sure that they're going to be perfect. You see, I haven't touched it, I haven't bothered it. You don't want it at a full boil, you want it at a nice simmer. All right. Make sure we have our plates available. I have 2 plates right here. Set up our plating station. Nice dry plate. English muffin, 1 top, 1 bottom, right in the center. That's some crispy chorizo. You can put bacon, you can put turkey bacon, you can put smoked salmon, you can put pretty much anything you want. I've done fried chicken and waffles instead of my bread over here. There's a lot of different opportunities to make Eggs Benedict special and unique in your own way. All right, let's turn off these eggs. Eggs are ready to go. Look at that beauty. Basically, I'm touching the egg just to make sure that we're not overcooking the yolk. So, we're taking it out now. Don't worry, that one's gonna look even more beautiful with the sauce over it. We're just making sure that we're putting it, look how beautiful that is. So, the reason I drain it, because this beautiful plate, I don't wanna mess up, right? So, we're draining it right on here. So we're gonna scoop it back up. It's drained right over the chorizo. Look at that, look at that. Favorite part? The Hollandaise sauce. Nice and over. Nice and over. A little bit extra. If you had some herbs, you would garnish it with some herbs. But that right there is the perfect Eggs Benedict. And I'll show you why.